Good morning, and welcome. Today we step out of our world and into another. We are about to begin a wonderful journey. This journey will take us back thousands of years. We are going to explore the land of ancient Egypt. The air in this museum is quiet now, but it holds so many stories. Think of the hot sun, the great Nile River, and the enormous pyramids. All of these things are waiting for us inside. We will walk through halls filled with treasures. These are not just old objects. They are clues that help us understand a magnificent civilization. Let us open our minds and our hearts to the wonders that lie ahead. The adventure is just about to start. Imagine you are standing at the entrance to a grand hall. The light is soft and warm. It feels a bit like the sun setting over the desert. All around you are the first signs of this ancient world. You might see a large map of Egypt painted on the wall. It shows the long, winding path of the Nile River. Let's take our first steps together. We now enter a truly impressive room. This is the Hall of Pharaohs. The air here feels different, filled with a sense of power and authority. All around us stand colossal statues. Their stone faces look out with a calm, timeless expression. These are the kings and queens. They were not just rulers, they were seen as living gods on earth. Their job was to keep the world in balance, to protect their people. Look at the size of these statues, made large to show the pharaoh's immense power and importance. Let's look closely at this statue of Ramesses II, carved from a single massive block of granite. His arms are crossed over his chest, a pose of authority. He wears the Nemes headdress, the striped cloth of royalty. His face is serene and confident. Next to the great king stands a powerful queen. This is Hatshepsut, one of the few women who ruled as pharaoh. Her statues show traditional symbols of a male king, including a false beard. This wasn't to hide her sex. It was to show she had the authority and power of a male pharaoh. As we walk past these stone giants, we can feel their silent presence. Each pharaoh had a unique story. We now leave the Grand Hall of Kings and enter a room that feels much more personal. This section is dedicated to the daily life of ordinary ancient Egyptians. The objects here are not made of gold, wood, clay, simple metals, but they are just as valuable because they tell us how most people really lived. Look in this glass case, cooking pots, simple plates, wooden spoons. In another display we find tools used by farmers and craftsmen, sickles with flint blades for cutting wheat and barley. We can also see a carpenter's tools, saw, drill, chisel. Here we have a collection of jewelry worn by everyday people. Necklaces made of colorful beads, simple bracelets, and small rings. They also used makeup. We can see small pots that once held coal. Finally, let's look at these items related to family and childhood. Here is a small wooden toy, a cat with a mouth that opens and closes when you pull a string, and board games. Let us now step into a quieter, more mysterious part of the museum. This room is dedicated to the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. The Egyptians had a deep and complex relationship with the divine world. They believed that gods and goddesses controlled every aspect of life, from the rising of the sun to the flooding of the Nile. Here we are surrounded by statues and images of these powerful beings. Many of them have a unique appearance, often with the body of a human and the head of an animal. For example, a god with a falcon's head might represent power and vision. Look at this statue of Anubis, the god of mummification and the afterlife. He has the head of a jackal, a wild dog that was often seen in the desert cemeteries. His role was to weigh the heart of the deceased against a feather of truth. Over here we see a beautiful painting of Isis, one of the most important goddesses. She was a mother goddess, a wife, and a powerful magician. She is often shown with a throne symbol on her head, as her name means throne. Isis was seen as a protective figure who cared for all people, especially women and children. Finally, we come to the most important god of all, Ra, the sun god. The Egyptians believed that Ra traveled across the sky every day in a golden boat. His successful return each morning at sunrise symbolized the victory of order over chaos. We now move into a room filled with ancient writing. This is the world of hieroglyphics. The walls are covered with stone tablets and pieces of papyrus, close-ups of beautiful and mysterious symbols. Hieroglyphics were the formal writing system of ancient Egypt. The word itself means sacred carvings. For a long time nobody could understand them. The key to unlocking this mystery was a famous stone. This is the Rosetta Stone. It has the same text in 3 scripts: hieroglyphics, Demotic, and Ancient Greek. Scholars used the Greek to decode the hieroglyphs. Once solved, the ancient Egyptians began to speak to us. Some pictures stand for the object they show. For example, a picture of a mouth could mean the word mouth. For instance, the picture of an owl stands for the sound M. Scribes were respected because they could read and write. Hieroglyphics appear on temple walls and in tombs, meant to be beautiful and last forever. We now enter the final and perhaps most famous part of our tour. The light in this room is low, creating a quiet and respectful atmosphere. We are here to learn about the Egyptian beliefs about death and the afterlife. For the ancient Egyptians, death was not the end. It was the beginning of a new and eternal journey. In this room we can see a real mummy, resting peacefully inside a decorated coffin. It is an incredible sight that brings us face to face with the past. The process of making a mummy was long and complicated. It took about 70 days. Special priests would first remove the internal organs, like the stomach and the lungs. The only organ they left inside was the heart. The body was then dried out using a special salt called natron. It was then carefully wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen bandages. Small magical charms called amulets were often placed between the layers of wrapping. These coffins, called sarcophagi, were often beautifully decorated. These spells come from a collection of texts known as the Book of the Dead, and successfully reach the paradise of the next world. The tombs of pharaohs were filled with everything they would need in the afterlife: furniture, food, clothes, jewelry, and even games. Our journey through ancient Egypt is now coming to an end. We have walked through halls of power, seen the tools of daily life, and stood before the sacred gods. We have decoded their picture writing, and looked upon the faces of those prepared for eternity. As we prepare to step back into our own time, we might ask ourselves a simple question: why are we still so fascinated by this ancient world? Why does a civilization that disappeared thousands of years ago still capture our imagination so completely? The answer, I believe, lies in the grand scale of their ambition and the deep humanity of their story. The ancient Egyptians thought in terms of eternity. They built things to last forever. The great pyramids, the colossal statues, and the hidden tombs were all designed to defeat time itself, and in many ways they succeeded. When we look at these creations, we feel a sense of awe. We are amazed by their skill, their dedication, and the sheer power of their belief. This quest for immortality, this desire to leave a mark on the world that will never fade, is a deeply human feeling that we can all understand. But perhaps the strongest connection we feel is a human one. Through the objects we have seen today, the child's toy, the farmer's sickle, the painted coffin, ancient Egypt is not just a collection of artifacts in a museum, and that is a story that will never grow old.